John, thanks for joining me here at SDTS.
Thanks for inviting me, Joe. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you've had a whirlwind month and a half on this planet and out in space as well. For anyone following it, right? Space Mira. So,
yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
Yeah, we were down in your neck of the woods, down in Florida, of course, at the Cape, just recently on the SpaceX flight that took Space Mira to the ISS, and we had a lovely moment, a week or so later, with 6 surgeons all in our headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska, operating the robot remotely up on the space station and cutting, simulated surgery ligaments, rubber bands up on the ISS. So it was just a tremendous kind of proof of concept for remote surgery there, I think.
That's just, when people talk about telesurgery, on the terrestrial side, it's impressive as hell, but when you take it up to space,
yeah, it's pretty
something
good.
else.
It's good. As hard as, putting it on a rocket and getting it up there and dealing with the remote side, I still think human surgery is really, really hard. So, I always like to take this as a wonderful proof of concept. But I think the real benefit is going to be back here on Earth, where you have a new model over time around remote surgeries. And we think mini robots kind of change the game in that regard a little bit.
And we're starting to see more and more of that. When people think of robotics, they usually think of the really large form factor.
Yes.
And yourself, companies like Microbot are going down into these smaller form factors, and in some cases, part of the robot is disposable after a certain amount of time or after first use as well. So we've worked with virtual over the years, and in the middle of the country, usually most robotic programs are one of the coasts, and you've had a wonderful, successful time of accumulating critical mass of talent, insights, leadership into Nebraska.
Yes, our heritage is we're a spin out of the University in Nebraska. Da Vinci serial number 8 or something like that went to the University of Nebraska Med Center in Omaha. And it was there that our co-founders Shane and Dimitri met and started working on little robots on the inside instead of huge robots on the outside. So in fact, this is the only miniaturized robot that is a standalone device that can fit in a surgical tray. It's a very, very different approach. We think in the world of mainframes and the mini robot here. So we've been able to attract great talent. On the technical side, Shane he's a Mars rover guy, NASA guy, you know him, MIT PhD, tremendous leader. So we've got a great diaspora of PhD roboticists from the University of Nebraska, from Carnegie Mellon, and this kind of MIT ethos as well. And tremendous manufacturing and engineering disciplines brought in as well with some teams from Madison, Wisconsin. So, yeah, we've been able to do it all in the Midwest and make things happen.
The timing for surgical robotics soft tissue right now is quite amazing. You and I have been around this industry for a long time, and until most recently, it's been one large form factor. But the value, the performance, the site of care is now leading to a stratification of robotics, like right robot, right place, right patient. And so it's really interesting to see you lead the way in this area. What do you consider when you're taking this out to market and the emerging centers of care, whether it's ASCs, outpatient surgery centers, or in the hospital? How do you think about positioning your platform?
Yeah, we think super highly of Intuitive as the pioneers in this space. With the Da Vinci robot is a fantastic device. But quite frankly, we've always thought about the other 90% of ORs, the other 90% of procedures, and OUS, these types of things. And that means inpatient sites of care, the outpatient department, and then, of course, the ASC in the US. And I think we're just going to work with our IDN customers and profitably, work with them to bring robotics on this journey, in these different sites of care. So our first indication is colon. That's the marquee procedure really in soft tissue, right? Multi-quadrant abdominal surgery. It's difficult. It's all inpatient. But we'll then follow up with GYN indications. We'll move into general surgery for things like hernia and lap chole. And so they're different. They can be done outpatient, certainly ASC. And so we'll follow the lead with our customers there who I think are really excited by the clinical benefit they get, but then this kind of overwhelming efficiency benefit of a robot in every OR or any OR. So it's a little bit of that journey that we'll see play out. Yeah.
And the different, again, form factors of the robot, whether it's your platform, whether it's intuitive distal motion Moon, it's really interesting to start to see the mosaic that are all going to start coming to the market 2024, 2025, when you really had in country in the U.S. Really one cleared robot at that point in time. So what does the clinical pathway look like, the regulatory pathway look like potentially, as much as you can share, and then the go-to-market efforts?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a de novo pathway with the FDA. The hallmark element of that whole submission was an IDE clinical study at 3 sites in the United States, which went extremely well. And we've just had a great teaming effort with FDA. And I'd encourage you to maybe come to my talk later today, because we got some nice things to share in that regard as well. So it's just an exciting time. And like I say, I think Intuitive with the mainframe type robot, they're incredible. Da Vinci 5 is coming. I think they're tremendous clinically, technically, as a company. And so to be unique entirely in this and to be able to enable these different sites of care, NEOR, has always been our focus. So, we really haven't had to spend too much time on those types of larger systems at all.
Yeah, and I think that opens up an enormous, to your point, 90% plus part of the market there, where you're still getting the efficiency, the least invasive approach, the robotic sort of enhancement of the surgery, but the cost point on this has got to be an enormous benefit and advantage to you.
Yeah, I think, it's a 2-pound robot instead of a 2,000-pound robot, so it has a lot less parts. It's a solid state, direct drive kind of technology. And we think over time we'll be able to profitably serve our customers, both us and the hospitals, doing okay. In any site of care, you know what reimbursements are like in an ASC, for example. You know what it's like in different health systems around the world. It's a very different paradigm. So, at our core is our mission to make every OR robot ready. And we've had to have this economic and efficiency side to it, as well as being mini, which we think, changes that and enables that. So I think all those things have to come together here. And that's what we're looking forward to showing here in the not too distant future.
When people think about robot and then you walk in with this, of course, this has been this has been out in the public domain now for a while. But when you come in with the robot, it's still to this day people, oh right, that's a robot. Yeah.
It takes a while to land. You've been around this, right? Because we've really spent 20, 30 years of talking about mainframe robotics and what it looks like, or big pedestal arms, or complex big devices. So by switching all this to instruments inside the body, we get new angles. We get a new way of doing surgery. We don't think of multi-port mainframe or single port mainframe. That's all 2,000-pound robots to us. We think about mini robot surgery, and it's a whole new game. So what's so fun at these types of conferences, Joe, and you've been part of them a while, is we've seen this journey in our industry from MIS into RAS, right? And now into mini RAS. We think that's kind of a watershed moment coming here. And we hope to take it, into all these different places that you've mentioned.
Well, it's exciting times for sure. You'll be at SAGES coming up in Cleveland?
Yes.
You usually have a great showing there as well?
Yeah, it will be look forward to seeing you there, and fingers crossed on some things to come
Potentially
to bear there.
some announcements, who knows, maybe?
Yeah, you never know. And of course, you'd always be welcome to come to our Lincoln headquarters.
It's a new facility, too.
It's a new facility. We've been in almost a year. You know, as well as our R&D and these types of things we talked about, we do all of our manufacturing, assembly, final assembly and test of consoles, carts, instruments, robots, cameras, everything is all in our facility. And so we think we're good to go for the next 5 years or so in that place, you know, from training to manufacturing to all of our engineering pipeline and clinical work. So yeah, we'd be happy to host you down there.
Yeah, I'd take that invite up in a second.
Yeah, perfect.
And I love to see the balance, both from a form factor as well as a region, that surgical robotics, all form factors, is really finding its way throughout the healthcare system. It's about time.
Perfect.
Well, I appreciate your time, John.
Likewise, Joe. It's good to see you, and have a good conference, and we'll talk to you soon.
Too. I'm Joe Mullings from SDTS in Houston. The next big thing. Be well.